After Effects tutorial. I'm sure you guys how to create your own very cool sort of, I guess, really clean gradient startup screen is what I'm gonna probably call it. So pretty much just, I'm gonna show you guys, like, this is not gonna take long whatsoever. Like, this is very, I don't know what, it's very just kind of step-by-step kind of thing, right? So, it's just really just the text placements, and what I'll probably do is I'll give you guys this, because this is like a really quick sort of thing that I did, just for the sake of, like, you know, you guys being able to kind of do these really quick, you know, text, because I believe when it comes to making things clean, sometimes it's all about the typography work that you do, is which kind of means, like, if you're going to be vertical stacking, horizontal stacking, which is like, this is vertical stacking, this is more or less horizontal stacking, put it in the middle, put it in the far left, add some little elements, like a little dot, dot, dot. So yeah, just come something, I'll probably just give you guys this, just a really quick little, I guess little, you know, what do you, I don't know, not 200 likes though, we'll give you guys this for the 200 likes, but yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty much typography, very simple, and plus like a little background that's just very, very nice little simple pattern. And what I did to use that was my brushes, the Align brush pack is what I use. I ended up using this brush right here. Very easy, very quick little brush hits, just to like to have, just so it's not just black, right? Like, this is okay. It's a little bit too clean in the sense where it looks like it's almost like just nothingness. So just adding this little element here just kind of like vibrance it up just that quite little bit with just a little quick, what is opacity? 25% opacity, right? So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video here today. Because after I show you guys how to do this, basically I'm gonna move it on right into Photoshop and just After Effects, and show you guys how to do some really quick, very simple little things that you can do just to make it, you know, pop out a little more. You can just have this, you know, blink, and basically I'm gonna have it just do something like this, you know, like blink, so it's like starting soon, so something's just moving around, and then just like move around the gradient here, and it's just make it look as pretty as possible, as simple as easy, as simply as possible. As simple as possible and really easy. Anyway, alright, so let's go get this thing going, and yeah, 200 likes on the video, you can see it down below. As always, guys, let's just jump right into the Photoshop part, and I'll hop right into the After Effects right after. Alright, guys, so let's go and get this thing going right here, right now. Before I start really quick, also, if you find it, I guess if you find it, like, fit for your, you know, your own style, your own, like, kind of vibe or whatever for your starting soon screen, and you really like this, or you say, I want to add more, do not be afraid to add more. If you find it, you need to add some, like, purple glow in the background, because it's what needs to be done. You know, that's pretty sick. But I mean, like, whatever you find is like necessary, just don't be afraid to do it. As well as also, if I don't have any of this done, I guess in the sense of like what I, you know, just wait a second. If I just I'm trying to take this word soon, it's not letting me click on it. Jesus, right? Okay. If I just like type in twitter.com/sesohq, you guys can also go follow that. Oops. Okay. What I will go ahead and do is, if you kind of have like maybe like 3 or so social medias, don't be afraid to like put twitter.com, Facebook, I don't know, and then maybe your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever other social medias that you personally have. Don't be afraid to like kind of like shrink it down, kind of make it look pretty. Don't forget, give it spacing. Do not make it as big as like this is just awkward. Also, just kind of just you know, you just don't make it so big. Once you see it once, you don't have to see it again, kind of thing, right? Yeah, but yeah, so basically, let's just get this thing going. I don't know, I'm so, like, giggly today, I don't know, I mean, because I'm kind of, like, tired. Anyway, so, let me go ahead and let's get this thing going. I'm gonna keep every bit of my little mistakes. This is freaking hilarious to me. Okay, so I'm gonna drag this little typography piece in. So like I said, I'm gonna give you guys this little PSD. I'll name it, like, I don't know what I'll name it, but regardless, it'll be like, you know, kind of like typography setup or whatever. But yeah, you don't have to take one of these for the example. There's nothing really that I just personally did for me to like go over something like that. All it really is this little gradient overlay with inner glow, which is very, very simple to change around as well. So if you find that you don't want the word starting soon, maybe you want like streams, you know, just getting going, or stream start, whatever kind of phrase or whatever kind of action words you want to apply to this text, go ahead and do so, kind of thing, right? This is just basically more or less kind of like an example of vertical stacking, horizontal stacking, etc., right? So I'm gonna take this text in here. So okay, I'm gonna just go ahead now. We're just gonna go ahead and just do the let's just do the quick little bar thing, right? So for the bar, all I end up doing is just using rectangle marquee tool, clicking outside the canvas on the left-hand side, dragging all the way to the right-hand side, making sure you go off the canvas, basically, just so you make sure you have all the corners, you know, hit. For you, just simply just click in whatever your foreground color is. It doesn't really matter at all, because you're just gonna press Alt backspace. It'll quick fill any color that you have in already. Now what you're gonna do is, if you have V on your keyboard, right? If you press the V on your keyboard, excuse me, it'll automatically bring you back to the movement tool. You might already know that, but you might not know if you hold Control. If you look right here, This says auto select if you hold control, right? You can see it's just like, you know, kind of like checking, just kind of checking itself. So basically if I hold control, if I click around, it'll actually click on the layer that I'm like looking for. So if you ever have any trouble finding your layers and whatnot, don't be afraid to hold, you know, press the V on your keyboard, go to the movement tool, hold control and click around for that actual layer. So yeah, otherwise just also make sure it's not on group, it's on layer, because it's, I think it's a default group and you might find yourself in a little bit of trouble if you have things in a group. So yeah, I'm gonna click on the word soon because it has this gradient on this. So basically the only thing you have to really be worrying about right now is the fact of what you're gonna, you know, kind of like change your gradients around. You can just use like an orange to, you know, yellow, this nice little orange here, you know, orange to like a darker orange, like blue to green. I don't know, I have a lot of different like gradients and whatnot. It all just depends on what colors you like. Don't just look up maybe like complementary colors. It's all about color theory and whatnot, like what looks good with each other. But yeah, I don't know, you can just choose whatever color you guys definitely want, so don't be afraid to go ahead and just try it out and whatnot, right? Inner glow, right? This little inner glow is just blend mode screen, 50% opacity, we'll just make it even for you guys. Just like so, right? And then size 4 and press OK. Pretty cool, right? Reason why I clicked on the word soon is I'm just gonna basically right click, layer via copy the layer style. So copy the layer style, right click, copy layer style. And if I just go back to this little rectangle here, I'm gonna right click on this layer and then paste the layer style. Simply just drag it nice far down. I don't like it to be that thick. I just personally like it to be kind of like, you know, I guess sleek in a way. Let me just make sure I have this kind of where I want to have it. Obviously right about there. Those rulers, by the way, all I ended up doing was just like clicking on the outside, press Control R to bring them up. Click on the outside of them or click on the ruler itself, right? And then just kind of like hover over where you believe the middle is, and you'll see this little snapping feature. You see this like snapping? So where you believe the middle is, it's just like this little snapping feature that happens, you see? So, it's very simple, you just let go of it and it comes right back. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer below everything, below the text and whatnot, and just add those very quick little simple, I'm going to make my foreground color here white. Very quick little simple just like hits of this brush that'll just add just nice little spacing. Right? Just very simple. I would not recommend you guys doing this. This brush, by the way, like I said, it's my stock brush pack that ended up I don't know if I said that. Stock brush pack for $5. Actually has almost like 500 or so, and any updates that I do for this pack actually just gets updated automatically for you guys in your email. But I would not suggest doing stuff like this. You don't want to fill the space. You just want space to just kind of be like empty in a way as well, but kind of like heavily like breathable, right? You know what I mean? Just kind of you separate it very evenly. So this is enough. You don't want to have to click drag. You don't have to do any of that. Don't make it too fill because that's not the point. However, if that's what you want to do, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I already have this one here. So all I got to do now is change your blend mode from normal to overlay, and then change your opacity to about 25 or so. And I'd say that's pretty damn good. That's fine. It looks really good. And last but not least is this little part right here, right? You can see this little box here that I have, and what we're going to be doing is like making it look like it's loading. So if you guys want to do this as well, all you have to do is take your round rectangle tool. This tool here, we're going to kind of like do it like so. Also, if you find that your radius here, you see it's not as rounded as I want it to be, right up here, I'm going to change it to about 10. So when I change it, I'm going to have to do it over again, unfortunately. Because I don't think this, unless this works over here actually. I think I can just change it on the properties itself, not up here. But if I click on the layer, you see I'm clicking on the layer, I have the properties table come up. If you don't have that, Windows properties, right? And if I just click right here, I want to make it 10. Press 10, there we go. Press OK, so that's what I want. Oh, I didn't even do it again. But yeah, you see how it gets a little more rounded? That's what I kind of want. I don't want like 3, I would say 10 is a pretty good number. But if you want to change it up here first and then apply it, you guys can definitely do that as well. Now that you've done that, if you guys don't know about Illustrator, it's basically the same exact thing, how they fill in color and have a stroke as well. Two different opposite sort of things. So you have the stroke color that's already highlighted, basically. I already have this fill color, it's turned off. So this little red kind of slash through the actual box just means it's turned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a different color. This little top right on the little color picker here, I'm going to click on it. We're going to just, with this eyedropper tool, select the background color. The background color, by the way, is hex code 0C0F11, if you guys didn't say it already. It's basically like this, kind of like a black, but has a little bit of a blue tint with it, so you can see like the difference. Maybe not right here, but whatever, right? Just click on the background first really quick, right? And then just take this little white dot here, just drag it a little bit further down, simply, right? Press OK. What it'll do is, if I zoom out really quick, you can see that this box right here is kind of like a little more darker than, I guess, like the background itself. So it kind of looks like it's almost embedded or like indented in the actual background. I definitely like how that looks. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press D on my keyboard to bring up this little, kind of this little top part here again while you're selecting on the layer. go to stroke. We're going to go to color picker, and we're just going to select and hover over color. I'm going to go where like the middle of the gradient starts transitioning and just click right in the middle of it. Press OK. So it'll look like this, right? So it'll look pretty good. It's definitely more purple than anything, but if you guys wanted to, you can also press U on your keyboard, turn off the stroke, right? If I turn off the stroke, it'll just be like this very simple little box. If I double click on this, then I can just go to stroke here, change my size to about 2 maybe, or maybe 1. I don't know, maybe like 2 for now, and then you go to color type, you can actually drop down the color and use the gradient. So if I just click on gradient, bring up the gradient table, and you use the same gradient as before. If you guys didn't know, when you select that gradient, if you wanted to for the actual the starting soon, if you press new, it'll make a new gradient for you. So that's what you can definitely do. So I already have that here. I'm gonna press OK, and I can have a little gradient right there. So it doesn't have to be a solid color. It can also be a gradient if you guys wanted to as well. And then last but not least, make a new layer. We'll just make it a perfect square. If you guys didn't know how to do that, just click, right? You just click once and then hold shift, and I'll make it a perfect square. I'm gonna kind of put it right in the middle here. I would say this is pretty good for now, for the sake of the tutorial. I'm gonna press Alt Backspace, quick fill it in with any color whatsoever, because it doesn't really matter. Because all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the word soon. If I probably already have it saved, but right click, copy layer style, go back to this little image here. You know how to do it, right? Control click and go back to it. And then right click on that layer and then paste that layer style. That way we can have this nice, cool little gradient on the little loading kind of like dots, I guess you would say. Shrink that now. We'll just group this together for now. Let's zoom it out. So it kind of looks like a little bit too boxy. If you find it just kind of like maybe touching the areas too close to the, I guess, the outsides, I would definitely recommend you to kind of hold Alt and Shift, take a corner, move it in. That way it keeps in that middle area here, but it also just kind of get away from the side. So looks a little bit more better that way. I think it does. And if I wanted to, I can just bring this in a little bit. Maybe, right? Put this in the middle. And that'll kind of like be it, right? So yeah, if this isn't it for you, you can, like I said, you can just add some little, your sponsor logos, or, your whatever, your social media, or your background here. It doesn't have to just be this. It can be like your logo if you wanted to, right? Kind of just like if you can make a pattern. I don't know if you guys ever watched my, I'll put a tutorial in the description for you guys to actually watch as well, for that kind of like does this cool little pattern, kind of simplistic video. I don't know, maybe you guys saw it, but you can do something like this. You know what I mean? If you had like a pattern, I don't have a pattern set. I'm not gonna really do it right now because I already had a video on that. But you can be a word. It can be your logo. It doesn't have to just be this cool little simple little pattern here. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to try something out. But yeah, once you have this done, make sure you guys, this is the key component. Before I move it into After Effects, be sure to name everything. Also be sure that nothing's in a group. So this right here is gonna have to come out of group. So it's gonna be kind of weird. Like you put things in a group, but you have to take it out. Yes, because it's just gonna be a lot easier for you guys when you have to actually make a composition in After Effects. So take everything out of a group. Make sure you name everything. All this stuff is basically already named. This here, I'll just keep that. That's fine. This right here, we'll name it like bar. This right here is gonna have to come out. And for this, we'll just make it like, we'll just number it, right? We'll number it to like where it is. So this is 1, so 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So name all those. Those are now named. This right here, we're gonna call this slide bar or loading bar, right? And then logo copy, let's delete that. And this is just a pattern, we'll call it pattern. For the background, this right here, we would delete that, but that's for just like this is actually the template that I had in the original. I'm not gonna delete that, but once you name that, it'll make it way easier for you guys to actually select certain things when you put them in After Effects, just so you guys can get some context. It'll look like this, right? So that way everything is already named for you, and if you don't, it looks like this. You have to actually open it up and another composition, and if you don't know, After Effects is gonna be maybe a little bit complicated for you, so I would just stay away from doing that. Only reason is because that's where I had that little blue layer here to kind of put the word stream in blue. That's why. So yeah, basically just kind of name everything, take as much out of a group as possible. It'll just make your life way easier. And when that's done, simply file, save it as normal PSD, and just save it in a place that you're gonna definitely be able to find it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move into After Effects. And like I said, once again, please add if you want to add. Otherwise, I kind of think it looks kind of clean with just the gradients themselves. And yeah, let's just jump right into this thing, just kind of the After Effects part, and hope you guys enjoy so far. Alright guys, so once you have all of your layers all named and ready to go, this is the tutorial one right here. This is the actual group that I want to actually use, because this is the one I already have spent a little time on, right? Just a little more time on, and this is the one I'm going to basically be using. So, right, when you already told you guys how to save it on Save As, I'm going to jump right into After Effects, and then to basically get this thing going, you want to go to Composition, new composition. Make sure your frame rate is at 60 frames. That's basically going to help you guys out for like kind of like numbering things. If it's at 30 frames, that's half a second. If it's at 60 frames, that's a full second. Kind of easier to read in that way. Also, your width and your height should be the same exact as the document size in Photoshop, which should be 1920 by 1080. And you want to press OK. Then to bring in your PSD, you go to just right click somewhere on this empty canvas here. Go to Import, File, and it should be Starting Soon Template is what the name is. PSD, Import. Now your import kind here, my throat by the way has been killing me, so if you understand why I'm like coughing a lot, it's just because my throat. I have water, I should probably be drinking it. Oh Jesus. Okay, so your input kind should be on default footage, but you want to change it to composition, retain layer size. That's going to basically retain it on the 1920 by 1080p resolution, all the good stuff, right? So you want to click on that. Then your layer options enable, editable layer style should be what should be done, because it's going to give you guys individual layer styles, which is what you definitely want. So press OK. It's going to give you this composition right here. I just pointed, that you can definitely, okay, we're going to click on this right here, double click on this, right? It'll open up the Starting Soon template composition, which is going to be what you definitely want. So now that this is all here, I just realized you probably don't need to do file a new composition. You probably just had to click over here and import. Whatever, now you know how to make a new composition. So yeah, first things first is the one thing I want to really honestly show you guys is this little blinking animation that kind of just makes the loading bar look like it's blinking. Hopefully I gave you guys a little bit of a preview in the beginning of the actual video. By the way, as well, if you want to add audio, you can add audio. If you want to add like special effects that you possibly know, like Saber, the electricity kind of stuff, you can do that. Honestly, as well, I was having a different idea. I was like, I don't want to make it too complicated for the video though. It really isn't complicated at all, but you can take like rectangles, kind of have these rectangles, maybe they have the same gradient as the Starting Soon word, right? And just have like rectangles just like fly through, you know, have one like come in this direction, like one in this direction out of the canvas, in just to kind of like just show movement. But that's just like, it's kind of like, it's so bare bones, so basic that I feel like I have to say it. But just for the sake of just like giving you guys ideas, those little basic things that you do just kind of make the production value of the Starting Soon vibe kind of like flow, you know? Or if you want to type in like maybe animated background loop footage in like Google, you can get some really cool loop footage that you put in the background, and you don't have to have this. You can just have the word Starting Soon, and then you import that in there, import from Photoshop to After Effects with no background, and you'll just be transparent. So there's different ideas I just want to like kind of put out there in the world for you guys to kind of go ahead and, you know, make more of the very bare bones but also very clean and professional look that I'm doing for you guys today. So this number 3 here, it should be this little third dot. So we're going to basically making this blink, just like how it's actually looking right here, just like this. We're just kind of make it blink, but more or less kind of fade in. So the way I'm going to basically be doing that is this little simple animation trick by taking your opacity of the actual layer in After Effects, go from 100, 0, 100, 0, etc. Right? So to go to number 3 here, to automatically go to opacity, there's a shortcut if you press T on your keyboard. As you see right now, it has the word opacity. For any reason that you do not know how to go, maybe your T button's broken, that would suck. Take the layer, this little drop down here, just do so. Go to transform, do so. And then your rotation, excuse me, I don't want rotation, I want opacity, that's where it's going to be. But like I said, you can also press T on your keyboard and just bring it up, just like so. So 0 frames, 0 seconds. We're going to click on this little stopwatch here. That's going to give our first keyframe, which is right here, right? You see the little blue dot? That's our first keyframe. So right here, it's already at 100% opacity. That's what we want. So I'm going to go to the half a second, which is 30 frames. So if I just see right here or right here, 30 frames. And it's perfectly on it. Oh, fuck. 30 frames, just like so. So I'm going to take this opacity, go from 100, just take my mouse, go left, or just type in the word 0, whatever. And that's going to basically go from now, 100, and it's going to slowly fade down to being not seen anymore. So relax, CC Cleaner, little meanie. 1 frame here. Excuse me, 100 frames, you know, like this is about to be 60, it's going to turn into a 1. That's 1 full second. So you want to basically go to like, you know, 0, 30, 1, 130, 2, 230. Just kind of just understand that's basic numbers. I'm pretty sure you guys understood that, but for the few people who probably didn't, I got your back. Okay, so 1 second here, you should take your opacity, and this should now be 100. You can just literally just take it, drag it right? And also make a new keyframe for you every single time, as long as you made that first initial keyframe in the beginning, which you should have done. So you can see it goes from 0, and then it goes back up to 100% opacity, and that's definitely what you definitely want. So this cool little thing about animation and stuff like that in After Effects. One of the most used things in After Effects just for animation purposes is easy ease, which messes around with the actual, I guess you would say, speed of where, like, from point A to point B of a, what do you call this? Keyframe. So from this point here, which is 100% opacity, I just spit all over my freaking, that was disgusting, sorry. 100% opacity for this first keyframe, and then for the second keyframe is 0. So you can change the speed in which these two keyframes interact with each other. So you can have this first keyframe like from 0 to 60, let's say, those seconds, or 0 to 60 opacity. You can make that be really fast, and then kind of like from the rest of the 60 to 100%, you can have it go a little more slower, so a little more kind of like pulsating, right? So to do that, all you have to do is highlight the actual keyframes just by clicking right in this little gray area, just dragging right over it, right? Then right click on one of these little keyframes, go to Keyframe Assistant, then go to Easy Ease, and then top right here on your toolbar is called toolbar is called the Graph Editor, and this is what you definitely want. So by default, I believe your edit for your graph is going to be value edit, and if it doesn't look like how mine is, you're like, Seso, I'm freaking out, bro, it doesn't look like yours. Right click somewhere on the actual graph canvas, right, and then do edit speed graph. This is what you want. So you're gonna have these little yellow squares. That's just gonna basically represent the 0 keyframe that you made, the half a second keyframe that you made, and the full second keyframe that you made. So like I said before, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little handle here for this first keyframe, and we're gonna make the beginning be really quick, and the end be a little more slower. So I'm gonna move this very slowly inside, just something like that, right? And then for this one here, I'll highlight both of them. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to highlight both of them. You're like, what the hell, Seso? Click on this one individually, drag this one in for be really quick, right? And then it's just gonna drag this very slowly in the middle here, and then this one here is gonna kind of drag it in, and then drag it in, just like so. So what it should do is when I click off of that, when I render this in really quickly, you'll see, you probably can't actually notice because of how like very small this like amount of change is happening here, but there is an honest difference. It's probably gonna be weird for your eyes to catch unless if you don't know what it does. But you'll see it's more pulsated. It's not stagnant. And I guess the easy way for me to show you guys this, just so you guys can like fix your eyes to understand what you're looking at, what I'm gonna quickly do, I'm gonna go to 1 second. Don't do this. This is just for the sake of just showing you guys. If you wanted, you can do it. But very simple things you can do. I'm gonna take my position here. I'm gonna keyframe this, drag this outside, go to 1 keyframe or 0 keyframes here. Put the no, I want this to be there, and then keyframe this on the outside. So it's going to go from the outside to the inside in the middle here. So if I just keyframe it now, or excuse me, pre-render it, you'll see how very stagnant this little sort of animation is from going from outside to inside of this canvas, right? If I just see, you see how just kind of like robotic-y and just kind of like, just like I said, very stagnant motions. If I go ahead and do that easy ease though, just like I said, this is just so I can literally just show you guys to fix your eyes to understand what's happening. I'm gonna just kind of pull these two in really quickly. Then I'll re-render it. You'll see that it'll be very quick and like very quick to finish. So it's gonna have this very cool little middle motion that kind of just makes it a little more smooth. So now, remember how the original was? Now you see how kind of like smooth and a little more quick it is. You could definitely mess around with that just by like the graph, going back into the graph. And if you want it to be slower, you move this further in. If you want the end to be really quick, you can just move this in just like so. Re-render it. So it'll be kind of slow coming in, but really quick toward, or opposite, excuse me, really slow in the beginning. No, really quick in the beginning. Really, you'll just look, right? You see how quick it is in the start and then kind of slower at the end. So that's because of the graph itself, right? So you can definitely do that. See how, like, oh, I guess the amount of where the top is will be faster. I don't know, I mixed those up in the beginning, but yeah. So that's literally just to show you guys the what it does. Let's fix this, and then that's where it should be. And now we're back where we were. Cool. Out of the graph. So yeah, that's what those the dots that are doing right now. It's just kind of just making it a little more slow, a little more methodical, a little more thought out, just kind of like a little more animated, right? So just for the sake of just knowing how to do it, I only have one dot repeating. If I wanted to repeat all the way, let's say for like 5 seconds, you want your starting zoom screen to be 5 seconds. It doesn't have to be 5 seconds. It can be as long as as long as you want it. Excuse me. If you just make it repeat, like the actual in OBS, you want to make it repeat. To do that, I'm just gonna say 5 seconds is my whatever, right? So right here, this is at 100%. The half a second's at 0. The 1 second is at 100%. So the next one should obviously be 0. So basically for that, we don't have to go in and kind of like be, hey, 0. All we have to do, highlight these last 2 keyframes, Control C on your keyboard, go to 130 here, which is now it's at 130. Control V will paste. So Control C is going to copy and Control V is going to paste. So you can just go on every interval here. So 230, paste, 330, paste. And what's going to happen here is it's going to basically take what you did over or what you did originally, just make it kind of just like flow better now. So you can see how that's now blinking. For whatever reason, if you want to have multiple, dots blink, all we'd have to do is kind of like separate the amount of where the animations kind of start. Jesus. The easiest way to do that is go from 100% opacity here, 0, 100, 0. So this next one here, so I'm going to say from 130, so from a second and a half to 2 seconds, I'm going to start this other one. So number 2 here, see my keyword, keyframe the opacity. So this is at 100%. This next to 2 seconds here should be 0, right? So I'm going to go here, go to 0. So this should be going away at 100, and this should be 100 right here, right? It is. Okay, so for the sake of everything here, I'm going to just take these, move this out to about maybe 4 seconds. I'm going to have this one blink. I'll just have it like blink once or twice. So I'm just going to go to like 3.5 seconds here. I think it is on it. It is on it. Okay, cool. So what's going to happen though is I'm sorry. I'm trying to like, I'm trying to like think how to make this as not complicated as possible, because it's not complicated, but I know honestly someone looking at freaking Illustrator for the first time, or excuse me, After Effects for the first time, is going to be like flipping the hell out. It's not hard. It's the same exact thing. You see this little keyframe here? Look right here. It's at 0. This one all the way over here is at 100% opacity. I don't want that. I want to make sure this stays at 0, because when this finishes here, I'm going to make sure this ends at 100% opacity, so it's at full, and this next one in here brings up the third dot, right? So I'm going to make this here also 0. So through all of this time here, that third square here is not going to be showing. That's what we want. So if I go over here, right, this second dot here, this is 100%, and then 0. So 230 should be, obviously you guessed it. For some reason, I don't think I made this 100 or 0. Now it's at 0. 230, right, and then make it 100. And I can take this one. I'll just do it one more time, right? And this should be 0. I'll have to do it one more time because 3.5 seconds needs to be 100%. The second dot needs to end at 100, so I'm going to take this and then just move it over a half a second again. And there it is. So perfect. Now I'm going to click on it. You'll see this one blinks a couple times, and then when it goes away, the next one will blink, because that's how kind of like loading works, right? So that one goes away. This one now starts to go down in opacity as well. This will blink a couple times, and this ends at 100% opacity, obviously makes it visible, right? And the third one then comes back in. So you can just kind of have those rotate through each other. And also, I didn't add an easy ease here. Doesn't really matter, but you guys know how to do it now. But now that's at 100. This one will pop back in, and this one is kind of like going dot 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 dot. So it all depends on what you kind of want to do. But you can see in full animation speed now, kind of, right? It's a little bit more stagnant than it needs to be. Also, this should have started on the same time. It should have been right here. I don't know why I gave it another full second. You see how it just got really hiccupy or kind of like very stagnant, or just that empty space that just happened that you know is not supposed to happen? It's because I had to start these at the same time, which makes a lot more sense when I think about it. Yeah, let's just let this go. And perfect. So you can see it now, 100, 0, 100, 0, that one 100, 0, 100, 0. That one comes back in, just like so. And you can just rotate. You can just kind of like almost copy and paste this entire thing over and over again. But now that that is basically done, right? Like I said, I'm just going to have it stop at 5 seconds for the sake of the video. I'm going to just quickly show you guys one other thing that I wanted to end up doing. So 50 to 100%, you can see the bar here. I want to show you guys this bar. So really quickly, if I go to the bar right here, whatever you actually have layer styles wise inside Photoshop, as long as After Effects also has them, which mostly they will do. So gradient in this case here, whatever you have in Photoshop will also translate into After Effects. So if I drop down here, go to layer styles right here, gradient overlay right here. This will also be here. The same exact gradient overlay that's in Photoshop, right? So I'm going to keyframe the angle. This is what I was talking about, angle. We're going to go to the end of however you want the length of your actual video to be. 5 seconds and a half, 5.5 seconds. Take this, and we're just going to rotate it clockwise. It's basically going to be positive all the way up until 360. If I wanted to type in 360, I could have, but I'm just going to drag my mouse to the right? So during this time, you'll see this color here, kind of go from like this angle all the way to this angle and kind of flip. Maybe I think it's like maybe 3 times it should flip. You see how this full rotation is happening right now. And this right here will just kind of give you guys like a loading sort of vibe to it, because this is kind of like, you know, kind of like circling, right? So mostly when you think of like loading, you think of like either the dot dot dots that we did or the circle animation. Yeah, just basically just waiting for this to render out. Also keep in mind as well, like I said, those little these little bars kind of like going through and whatnot. That'd be kind of cool for like a little loading kind of scene kind of thing. But let me just show you. Just wait. Also, I probably could have easy eased it, but for the sake of the video, whatever. You guys already know how to easy ease, but I would always suggest when you do any kind of motion, do easy ease. But you can see it kind of looks pretty cool, right? So all this little very small, just kind of like things that you're doing will just look really, really good. So last but not least, yeah, all you have to do to add it to render queue, I believe it's composition, add to render queue, or press Control M on your keyboard. And then for the settings, I believe I just do it as so. I just do quality best, resolution at best. If for whatever reason, maybe you kind of like have like a starting soon screen, maybe for some reason you show yourself or whatever, you need it to be transparent. If you need it to be transparent, it happens over here. But for this is perfectly fine. Press OK. Right? Format AVI, or you can use probably MOV. Doesn't really matter. QuickTime right here. QuickTime right here. I don't think it matters. I just like to use AVI for just, I guess, personal reasons. Channel here are RGB, but like I said, if you want it to be transparent, if you didn't have a background in Photoshop and or in After Effects, you can just have it be transparent by making sure you pick RGB plus alpha, which will make sure that the background that you already had transparent in After Effects will render out also transparent in After Effects as well, right? So once you have that, you press OK, and for whatever reason, if you had audio, you make sure you had your audio settings all good and whatnot. Right here. So it should be, I believe, I don't know what is the best, but what's the most minimum or whatever, but I believe 48 is pretty good. I don't know if you need any higher, like, I don't know if it's DVD quality. I forgot what that whole, like, momentum thing or that whole gist is. But yeah, I think auto should be fine if you do have audio already in there. And then, of course, your output, save it as whatever you guys want to, and when you render it out, you're pretty much all good to go. So as simple as the tutorial was, I did not mean to drag it out as long as I possibly did, but honestly, I hope that I gave you guys enough ideas, enough like kind of like closure on how this kind of whole system works. If you guys are new to After Effects, as I personally know myself, it was a mess. I just felt like it was like impossible to learn After Effects, but when you learn it, it's honestly as simple as like keyframes and just a couple effects. Relax, there's a crap ton of other things you can do, but for the stuff that I do personally, it's not too hard, not too difficult whatsoever. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed. What I did with the bar, by the way, I would totally advise you guys to do that same exact thing with the actual text for starting soon. Now that I'm thinking about it, I would definitely do it for the gradient overlay here too. So change the angle around so that spins as well. Maybe have it be opposite. Oh, you gonna tell me that's not sick? All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video here today. Of course, 20 likes on the video equals a secret down below, which mostly be the PSD of the video, the After Effects. I mean, I guess I'll give you guys that too. It'll probably come up with like missing files and whatnot because just corrupted. I don't really know, but I'll give you guys both just in case. But it's a very cool vibe to it. And honestly, if you guys want to see me do more kind of like fun little videos in the sense of like cool little animations you can do for a theme, that'd be honestly really fun for me to learn, and as well it's just kind of fun for you guys to learn as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I just love you guys so very much for the support I've been having recently. It's been freaking insane with like the whole sesohq products. Quick plug, sesohq.com/sesohq for any packs as low as $5, as low as $3 actually. Yeah, just straight up love you guys so very much. Like the live stream we actually had, $100 dono came in. Freaking just all the support is quite ridiculous, and I just so you guys know, I do seriously appreciate it. And with that being said, I'm gonna peace out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, the whole series that's gonna be coming hopefully as well if you guys enjoy it. And yeah, talk to you guys later. sesohq out. Do not forget to keep smiling, stay positive, and stay freaking productive, guys. Later.